Hey guys, welcome to another edition of the Long Range Corner with your host, Matt Bardeen. Hope you guys are doing good. I want to talk to you today about four things really. I want to talk about my experiences with the Furious TrueD and how I found that. I've been using that for a while now, and so I would like to give my thoughts on that. I'd like to talk about how to keep motivated, or how I'm trying and maybe failing to keep myself motivated to keep flying and keep getting out there and doing cool stuff. And then I'd like to talk about my drone that I left in a tree today, stupidly. And of course, questions and answers. So hey, how you guys doing? I see Dofer, Flux, Peter. Hi Peter, McGrath. How you guys doing? So yeah, I've been testing the Furious TrueD. Got that. That's version 3.6, I believe. And yeah, revision 3.6. So for the most part, I like it. I like the functionality. I like the OLED. I like the ease of changing channels. I like the smart search. All of that is really good. I really like that. I'm not completely convinced by the switching performance, the diversity performance quite yet. I've only taken it out about 2 kilometers, and it has some issues. For example, there seems to be interference in the video that I wasn't getting with the Fat Shark antenna diversity module. Of course, the Furious TrueD is a true diversity module. It has 2 receivers, so it basically chooses between which receiver has the best RSSI, whereas antenna RSSI chooses between the antenna diversity chooses between which antenna has the best RSSI. And those are a little bit different in how they work, how they perform. So I'm not completely convinced about the TrueD's the diversity performance yet. Hopefully with more testing and more experience with it, I'll figure out its quirks and if it's a real problem or if it's just something that I'm just not used to. So that's that. The other thing I don't like, and this is kind of a big one for me, is that I typically switch modules. I have a 2.4 gigahertz module that I use quite a lot, and getting this seated properly on my goggles is a bit of a pain in the ass. It just doesn't really sit right. I'm always questioning, is it in there? Has it seated right, until I've actually powered it up and the diversity module comes on. So those are my 2 main gripes. Apart from that, I love the firmware. I love the features. It's just a great little module. But the other bits, not so keen on. So that's my thoughts on the TrueD diversity. And I don't know if you guys have what you guys use on your goggles. If you use the TrueD or LaForge is the other popular option. I didn't want to go to LaForge because I didn't want to mod my goggles, and I wanted the ability to change modules, like I said. So that's why I went with the TrueD. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the TrueD module. Not many companies carry a 2.4 video RX. What is your favorite 2.4 video receiver that is still on the market? I'll get onto that later. I'll come back to that question. But right now I want to talk about keeping myself motivated. And this is kind of a hard thing to do because, I've been doing this for 3.5 years now, and I've pretty much done, or I feel like I've done everything I wanted to achieve with FPV. I've flown long distance, I've flown short distance, I've flown freestyle, and I've raced. I never was really happy with racing. I never was really happy with freestyle. I like more. I like just getting out and exploring. So part of my problem is I've kind of tapped out. I'm not going to say tapped out, but with the increasing number of subscribers on the channel, I feel like I have to do bigger and better. And that is hard to do. It's hard to say, okay, yeah, I'm going to go out and fly this weekend in some cool place, and you have to drive, and it's a drag on your resources. So that has kind of kept me a little bit unmotivated recently. So I'm not sure how to combat that. I have been trying to do flying in simulators, trying to keep my skills up, actually build my skills up, new tricks, practice them on the simulator first, and then try them in real life. So I've been trying to do more, but it still doesn't feel different enough from other channels on the web. So that's my problem. So I think it's a hard thing to balance. I think the motivation. I'm just reading Pato. Pato says, "How do you love all the other features? It's a great little module if the quality of the clean video is not there." Yeah, I'll get to that as well. I'll come back to that as well. But so motivation, yeah, it's hard. It's hard to keep motivated. To be honest, I haven't figured out how to do it. I'm now thinking about what I'm going to do for the summer. And yeah, what am I going to do? What epic things am I going to do this summer? Go fly mountains? Yeah, everybody's flying mountains now. So what can I do that's different? What can I do that brings something new to the table? And that's always kind of been what I've been after, is bringing something new to the table, bringing something interesting to the table, showing you guys maybe a little bit more of Chile. I like doing that, but I'm not sure if it's enough to sustain the channel. So that's got me a little bit worried, and it's got me a little bit... it's the things that go around in my head when I'm doing videos, when I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to take the channel. That's always going around in my head. So that's the second thing I wanted to talk about. Yeah, flying to please others is a killer for motivation. I've been trying to get back into the I'm just going to fly for myself mode, but it's hard because you get the subscribers and you feel like, oh, I need to entertain them. I need to do something interesting for them. I need to show them epic, and it's pressure, and it's not as much fun as I'd like it to be. So there's that. And then, yeah, so I did go out flying today. I went out early this morning. I think I was probably up at 6 and out of the house by 7, and met some guys doing, they're doing a little tour. We have a freestyle club here in Chile, which is a bunch of guys just doing freestyle, chatting on WhatsApp, etc., etc. So they came down near here, around my stomping grounds, up into the mountains. So I went out and met up with them and took them to a couple spots that I had in mind, or that I like flying. And I had a good time. It was great. It was probably a few too many people. I don't like flying with a lot of people, so there was probably about 12 pilots, and it's hard to keep everybody on the same track. So we kind of split it into groups of 4 people, and it kind of played it by ear, trying to hit different spots. And I think that worked really well. But it was good. I enjoyed it. Till the last spot that we flew, it was a line of big poplar trees. Alamos is what they call them here, which are a tall tree, kind of branch out like this. And I lost concentration for a little bit and stuck my quad in the top of a tree. And it's a good 20 meters, 30 meters up. So, and it's jammed in there. It's not coming down. I rocked it with the throttle as much as I could, and the big wind blew through at the same time, and it just didn't move. So I've got to figure out how I'm going to get that down. And that's my favorite quad as well, and it's got all my footage from today. So there's another frustration that I had. What do I do? Cut down the tree? No, I'm not going to cut down the tree. It doesn't make sense. That tree's probably a good, probably 50 years old. I'm not going to cut it down just for a bit of plastic. What I may do is cut off a branch, or at least pull down a branch while I'm trying to pull down my quad, but I won't cut the tree down. And plus, it's not my tree. It's along the side of the road, and it would be noticeable if I went out and tried to cut it down. So that's not going to happen. So I got to figure out another way to get it down. Probably big slingshot, or somebody that the guys know has a bazooka that they use to get the tree quads down from trees. Or the worst case scenario, I can always fly up another quad with rope attached to it and try to pull it out that way. I've done that before and it's worked. So those are my options. I will get it down. It's just kind of frustrating because my quad's stuck up there, and it's going to be stuck up there for at least 2 weeks. The real problem is that kind of collides with my schedule for my summer vacation. So my summer vacation is coming up. I want to go do a little bit of traveling, and I wanted to do the traveling in the first week of the vacation. Unfortunately, if I do that, I'm not going to have the time to go and get the quad down. So that's kind of a frustrations. Cut down the mountain and slingshot. Slingshots work well. Hit it with a car. Thank you guys. Watermelon bazooka. Barrel roll a whale into it. Yeah, very good. Right. So let's answer these questions. 2.4 video RX. I pretty much use the Immersion RC, the Diversity, the Duo 2400. That works well. I've used that a lot, and I have a lot of experience with it, so I know how it works. As I've mentioned before, it does have a few problems with, you have to watch the impedance of the antennas to make sure they're matched. If they're mismatched, the diversity doesn't work as well as it should. I've just purchased the Quantum 2.4 gigahertz diversity video receiver from Hobby King. So I'm going to get that in, and I'll tell you how it works. You're going to test it out and see if it works well or it's crap, or etc. etc. So those are the two that I've mainly used the Immersion RC basically. That and the video goggles, the RX for the video goggles, and the RX for the goggles works really, really well. I've been able to do 2 kilometers with it without too much problem. So how do you love all the other features and it's not a great little module if the quality of the clean video is not there? That's a good question. Thank you, Pato. I understand diversity. You're always going to get a little bit of glitching when you move from one receiver to another receiver. The Duo 5800 does that. The module, the antenna module, this doesn't do that very much. You don't really see a lot of glitching when you move from one antenna to the other. The TrueD does glitch. So that was my concern. I'm thinking that the problems with the video that I see is the antenna, the module switching between the receivers. So you get a little glitch there, and I'm thinking that's why I'm not completely convinced by it. That's what I'm saying. I do like that it lets you know when your video is getting bad. Like, gives you sound feedback. Beeps at you saying, hey, you're about to lose video. Not like you couldn't tell that from the actual video itself, but it lets you know. So there's a little bit more feedback there, which is nice. Hey, Humboldt, how you doing? No, the Duo 2400 is not. The Duo 2400 is not discontinued. The version 2 is discontinued. The version 3 is for sale. You can find that on Ready Made RC. The Quantum 2.4, you can search on Hobby King for Quantum 2.4 diversity, and you'll find it. As for getting the quad done, yes, I do have a hammer that I have a rope that I tie to a rope, and I can throw it up there. Unfortunately, 20 meters is a little bit too high for that. My arm's not that good. Have a great time at the beach, Frantic. So, yeah, I think my strategy now is a slingshot, because I think I can get more range on the slingshot. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get basically some washers, tie them together with a bit of fishing line. I'm going to use that. I'm going to attach that to shoot that with the slingshot and try to get up near to where the quad is. And then once I get that up, I can hopefully get it up and over the branch and down, and then tie a larger rope to it and be able to really shake the tree and get the quad out. That's my hope. I'm not too hopeful for that, because I think the quad is pretty much jammed in there. I mean, like I said, the tree was moving quite a lot with the wind, and the quad just didn't move. Last videos you posted, it seems like you're basically flying 5.8 video feed. As you fly far distances, why have you stopped using 2.4 gigahertz for now? With the TBS G2 that I have, I'm using the FP Vision, and the FP Vision is, of course, only 5.8. So that's one of the reasons why I've used that. I've been using my 5-inch quad more, because it's been more stable and it's produced cleaner video. That's basically the only reason. My 6-inch quad still doesn't produce the kind of video that I want, so I'm still working on that. And the 6-inch quad is what has the 2.4 gigahertz video feed, or video transmitter in it. So that's the simple question. Yeah, well, it sucks having quads in trees. It really bothers me. It really bothers me more that quad has my GoPro with all the footage from today in it. And that's the biggest issue. "10-meter fishing pool." That's actually a good idea. You can probably cast it up there, or I've seen people use bow and arrows and things like that. I'm not going to go that far. I'm not going to go out and buy a bow and arrow. I have a slingshot that should in quotes work. If I don't get it down within the next couple of weeks, then I'll probably wait until autumn and the leaves fall from the tree and I actually can see where the quad is. Right now I'm just kind of guessing where it is based on where I heard the sound, and then I'm going to have to figure out how to find it and then figure out how to get a rope near it, and then figure out how to get it down. So those are the things. Benny, how you doing? Are you gonna troll me like you trolled Trappy's feed? Yeah, this is a little bit higher than 10 meters though. This is probably 20 to 30 meters up in a tree, so it's not going to come down easily. I don't believe that, Patty. We still like you, though. Yeah, it's not an easy retrieval. And the form of the tree is particular. I don't know if you've ever seen an Alamo tree, but it's basically this. Basically goes up like a candle. It's just straight up, and the branches branch off pretty at a pretty acute angle. So I think the quad has gotten down into one of those forks, and it just didn't move. And even when the wind was blowing really hard, it just didn't move from the branch it was on. So I think it's going to be pretty hard to kind of shake it down. I think I might have to pull the branch down somehow, but we'll see. Figure that out once I figure out all the other stuff, where it is and how to get something near it, and then I'll figure out how to actually get it down. I've had situations like this before where it's had quads really stuck far up in a tree, and I ended up flying another quad up and getting it stuck near it, and then just pulling down the branch with the quad, the second quad. Not the most fun thing to do. Another one I had stuck on the top of a 30-meter tree and basically left it up there until a storm blew through and knocked it out. That's been my strategy so far. So Benny, how do you get quads out of trees? I'm sure you've gotten one stuck in there. And no beer tonight because, well, been out all day, pretty dehydrated. Yeah, any questions? Did you yell GoPro stop recording? Ha ha ha, no. The worst part about it is when I took off, I realized I hadn't started the GoPro recording. So got it stuck up there and don't even have a GoPro recording. I've got the DVR from it, but climbing, yeah, possible. I'm probably going to hire, if worst case scenario, I'll hire somebody that can climb the tree and get it down for me. That's the very, very worst case scenario. It's actually paying somebody. What was the size of that big battery you ran? I use a 5,000 milliamp hour Zippy battery. I like those because they're fairly light. I think they're about 430 grams. And that means that the drone, or the G2 Plus battery, weighs about 750 grams, which is basically the maximum for unrestricted flight in Chile. Not that I really pay too much attention to that. Climbed a tree on Boxing Day at night. Had to climb steps all the way up as the branches were too tight to climb. Man, that's a story. Left a pile of sticks, so if I fell out of it, I would land in the brush. I believe that. That's one of the things that I worry about from climbing trees. I really don't want to get myself hurt. I don't feel that any quad is really worth my life or worth damaging myself too much. So yeah, I kind of draw the limit on risking my life to retrieve a quad. I'd much rather pay somebody else to retrieve it for me. Risk his life. Here, I'm going to give you money so you can risk your life to go retrieve it. Hey, show me the tatas. How you doing? Long time no see. What RX antennas I'm using? FPV antennas, once you come. I use, that's 2 RX questions in a row. I've been using right now, this is what I used today, was the Axie. That's the Lumineer, 5.8 gigahertz, and the VAS Crosshair. So those are the 2 that I've used. I do have more antennas. I do experiment with them. It depends on what I'm doing, where I'm going, which one I'll use. So no, I don't always use the same antenna. I typically mix and match based on what I'm doing. Pretty much my go-to antennas for general situations are these 2, the Axie at the moment and the VAS Crosshair, because they work. You get, I can get pretty much 2 kilometers with these, at least with the Crosshair, without too much problem. So that's basically the top of this mountain that I like to fly. There's a local mountain I like to fly, and that's 2 kilometers. So this works. I like it, and it gives me lots of angle. I do have a pepper box. I do have the 13 decibel patch. I have 5 turning helical as well, and I have the True RC crosshair that I use, and then I have various other omnidirectional antennas. I've actually got a VAS Ion that I don't, that I bought, but I haven't really played with yet. 2 kilometers at what milliwatts? 2 kilometers at 800 milliwatts. Probably could go more. I've gone 5.2 on 5.2 kilometers on 800 milliwatts. So that's kind of given me the courage to really kind of stretch it on close range stuff. Uh, 2.4, I pretty much use the either, see, I think I have one here, Air Screw, 2.4 gigahertz, or the True RC Singularity. I've just gotten the True RC Singularities in, so I've been experimenting with those. I haven't really gone out too far on them, but so far what I've done is pretty good, so I'm pretty happy with that. And then the crosshair, the 2.4 gigahertz crosshair VAS. Camera settings on the mountain spots. I've been running recently the 1440. That's a 4.3 aspect ratio, and give me a second to think. 60 frames per second, and GoPro color, native white balance, and Pro Tune. So those are the settings that I've been using on the GoPro. Of course, GoPro's currently stuck in a tree, so I'll change that. No problem, Pato. Thanks for stopping by. FPV camera. Depends. If you're doing mountains, especially when you're doing snow, I actually think wide dynamic range hurts. Because what wide dynamic range tends to do is it kind of, if you've got small bits of dark and lots of white, it tends to try to bring out the detail in the darks. So it basically blows out the white. So if you're flying in the snow, I recommend trying to turn wide dynamic range off and lowering the brightness to so you can actually see details in the snow, because that's the really important bit. Is it doesn't help if you're just flying blind, seeing just plain white. Normal stuff, basic wide dynamic range. If you're flying in the mountains with just on a normal day, then wide dynamic range all day, no problems. I don't own a Phantom. No, I own a Mavic. RCA cable from ground station for the 2.4. Yes, I do. I have had problems with RCA cables in the past. I have my goggles right now. The RCA cable that I had, it was a really nice ground station cable. Basically included a battery tap at the ground station. So basically you could power the ground station and the goggles with the same cable. Unfortunately, the cable where it plugs into the goggles was loose and started just glitching out. So yes, I've had my share of problems, but I tend to like having the cables from time to time. I do have a repeater. I basically had a Lumineer 25 milliwatt video transmitter, 5.8 gigahertz video transmitter lying around, and I just took that and basically hooked it up as a repeater. Really ghetto, but it works. I've used that before. And that's nice because then my friends can tune in and watch me fly while I'm flying on 2.4. I'm the dude. No, I'm not the dude. That's Jeff Bridges. I'm just a dude. A little bit crazy. Right. We're coming up on 30 minutes now. So, my favorite fighting animal. What a question. I'm a fan of Magnolia. How about that? I'll leave it at that. Do I have a Blackout Mini H Quad or a Blackout 330? I did have a Blackout 330 many years ago. But in FPV years, yeah, about 2 years ago, I had a Blackout 330, and it was cursed. Let's put it that way. I never had good luck with it. I eventually sold it to somebody, and I don't think he ever used it. So, yeah, I had a Blackout 330, but no, I just ditched it. I wasn't really happy with the design there. Too much stuff that could go wrong. Even though it flew well, too much stuff that could go wrong. So more recently, I've been using, I had a Flying Cinema Tankito 30, and that was my 6-inch rig. Somebody asked once, way back, have I ever gotten jello-free 6-inch footage? Yes, I have. And that was with the Flying Cinema Tankito 30. The nice thing about that, it had a GoPro cage that was vibration isolated, and that was really nice. Got great footage out of that. Right. Okay. I think that's it. My water's done. Like I said, no beer. So my water's done. Thank you for tuning in. What are those beasts on the wall in the background? Yeah, right quick. We have Flying Cinema Cinetank. That's a 13-inch. That's right about there. Not sure. One of them. Thank you, too. There's an alien, a special alien. Yeah, there you go. A special alien there. Alien 6 with some special arms. I've got an X-24 with 6-inch arms there. That's flying cinema. Down below that is the bottom part of a QAV 540. And then TBS G2. That's a square frame there. So those are the beasts. And stuck up on the shelf are a couple wings, a Bix 3, Wing Z84, and you can just see over there the tip and nose of a mini track that I still have to get flying. Yep, huge monsters, but good for long distances. Well, the 13-inch quads, the 540 and the Cinetank, they don't really do long distances well. They fly for about 20-25 minutes, but with 2 batteries, 10,000 milliamp hour, and too much weight. Right, okay. I'm going to go. I'm going to try to get somebody in next week to interview. Hopefully somebody interesting. That's my goal. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Same time, 10 p.m. GMT minus 3. So Chilean daylight time. Basically 2 hours ahead of the East Coast right now. See you guys later. Have a good week and do some flying.